Welcome to the prelim segment of episode 173 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're recapping UFC Saudi Arabia, headlined by Whittaker and Aliskerov. And man, we're going to go in reverse order here because we got to go to what I thought should have been fight of the night. Jared Gordon versus Nasrat Haqparast. I haven't seen a little barn burner like this in a minute. This was like Gagey Chandler from Wish. You know what I'm saying? Timu Gagey Chandler.
It was a tremendous fight, though, man. Like, both guys were going for it. I thought both guys were eating pretty good shots throughout the entire fight.
Yeah,
and also,
both guys had chins. Both guys had heart and balls. I mean, this was a barn burner.
Also, potential robbery. I mean, Michael and I in our text thread talked about how, like, it was a close enough fight where it's hard to say robbery. But if you were just looking at Twitter, you'd probably think it was a robbery.
Yeah, man, and my scorecards do have it pretty robbery-esque because here's the thing. The rounds I gave to Gordon, I felt pretty good about giving to Gordon. Better than you did. I know you were kind of up in the air on a couple of them. The round I gave to Haqparast, I thought was a very close round. It could have gone either way. And yeah, I had a Jared Gordon by decision ticket in. It was plus 350. So you could, if you want to say I had Jared Gordon colored glasses on, I mean, whatever. I have scored cards against my bets many a time on this show, so I like to think that I'm pretty fair when it comes to that. But I mean, I am a human. Biases do exist, so I'll get out in front of that. Like, yeah, man. Nasrat Haqparast minus 230, Jared Gordon plus 190. I had Gordon by decision at plus 350.
Ooh, juice. And you were
it was literally
close.
So close.
One judge.
Odds boosted
One
too.
judge.
One judge
almost makes you
Twitter.
wonder if, like, with those odds boosts, like, I wanted to text you that whenever you texted that to me about the odds boost, but I didn't want to jinx it. Bro, I almost feel like those are, like, destined to not hit because the casino's boosting them for that reason. Now, granted, that's not true.
By definition, no. Like, if you're running a sports book, I mean, you're not in the business of giving away money. You're not going to odds boost the fight like the ones that you think you're going to hit.
Like, you weren't getting an Ozdemir odds boost on KO, for instance.
Like, exactly. Like I fully acknowledge that, but I always check the odds boost, and here's why. Because if the odds boost agree with just my pick, even regard, because like I don't like to get value gremlin in. Like, I'm not going to let an odds boost like change my mind. But like, if I picked Jared Gordon barely, like I picked Jared Gordon to like edge out 1 star. So you're giving me an odds boost on Jared Gordon by decision. And it was one of those things I had like $5 left in the kiosk, and I was literally just like, it was either this or like a long shot, like 6-leg parlay. So I was like, this is probably more likely to hit. And it was super close to hit. So I don't even feel bad about it. It was just a little sprinkle. But yeah, man, let's go round by round here because, I mean, we got to. The whole fight, the whole tale of this fight is how you score it and how close it was.
So I think a big reason I scored round one to Haqparast, all 3 judges did as well. This is the one round they all
I did too. I did too.
So I think most people agree Haqparast wins the first. I think that's because he defends every single takedown attempt from Gordon throughout the entire fight as well, but in the first round as well. When Gordon's most fresh, you're the most dry. Like, I think that's the easiest time, or maybe hardest time to defend a takedown, if that makes sense. And then also Haqparast at the very end of the round dropped some huge strikes on Gordon that was just visually, like, in a 50-50 round, kind of felt like the icing on the round for Haqparast. So that was essentially my reason for giving him the 10-9 there.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to that. I saw it the same way. The only thing I will add, though, is that, like, Jared Gordon did have Haqparast, like, moving backwards the whole round. Now, doesn't guarantee you the round. And like I said, I gave the round to Haqparast, but, like, visually, it did make it seem, like, very close.
Right, which is why I thought that end was important, where he kind of marched him backwards and showed, like, I can strike you off of me, which I just thought, yeah, like, the visual impact of that was nice. Now, in the second round, Gordon picked up the volume a lot. Still was unsuccessful in the takedowns, but I have in my notes that he dictated the pace and place of the second round, which is, I mean, huge.
I feel like dirty boxing's making a comeback in MMA. Like, back in the day at the Don Fridays, there was kind of hockey fight. And, like, I feel like that's making a comeback. We just saw that.
Was in, like, 12 minutes in the clinch.
Exactly. And then we had Perez-Tyra last week before the injury. There was a ton of that going on. And then round 2, that's where I thought Jared Gordon won this round because in space, Haqparast had the much faster hands, had the cleaner boxing. But Jared Gordon, and it's because he's a New York guy, he pretty much turned it into a hockey fight, man. He kept grabbing the dirty boxing, the tie clinch, throwing those short uppercuts. And it really took away that like boxing skill that Haqparast had the advantage in. And Haqparast really couldn't use his hand speed whenever Jared Gordon would grab a hold of him. It was just a grimy, grinding round. Loved round 2 from Gordon. I thought he won it like firmly.
I agree with you. And all 3 judges agree with that round as well. So it all comes down to round 3.
And this is why I say robbery, bro. Like, and I know we're gonna disagree here. I don't have the word close in my notes, and I give round 3 to Gordon.
Oh no, this round's incredibly close.
I do have the word war, so maybe I'm kind of contradicting myself. Like, it was a war. I just thought that Gordon won the war.
The strikes landed ended up being like 70-62 for Gordon, so he won by 8 strikes. However, I thought Haqparast was landing pretty solid strikes, so I think damage was really close. I scored this round to Gordon. Now in my notes I have it as like, if I could like put a percentage on it, like I'd say like 52% lean to Gordon. Does that make sense?
I'm going like 65%.
Like, I feel you. Absolutely not. He doesn't get a takedown the whole fight. He works the whole fight to get one. He fails to do it. So the whole fight he fails to do it. So that's got to mean something, right? That he could never get one the whole fight. And then he also won the strike number by 8, but the damage was so close. And honestly, he won the damage battle too. I thought he looked worse at the end of the fight.
The eye swelling shut was a bad optic. Like the eye was fucked.
So I'm just saying, round 3 is super close.
I guess this is where I guess I'm going to draw the line in the sand of like close, not close, kind of semantics here. Like, it's a close game, but like one team wins it. Like,
it's the problem with non-objective points. It's all subjective points.
You're right. I guess that being said, subjectively, I'll take Gordon's work.
I think not getting a single takedown was a terrible optic for him by the time the 3rd round happened. Because they started to look desperate in the 3rd round, the takedowns, because he was unable to get them for the entirety of the fight. Whenever he was winning with the striking, so it was confusing. Like, I thought it was a confusing visual for Gordon to provide. Because he didn't need to do the takedowns.
About subjectivity, and maybe I'm just listening to too much DC commentary over the past 3 years. Like, exactly what I'm saying. So whenever a guy can't strike and he's getting outstruck and he's shooting desperate takedowns and getting him stuck, I think it's a bad look. He said, maybe I've listened to too much DC. When a guy's having success and just mixing in level changes, I almost count that as like activity, as like mixing it up.
I agree.
Like, so maybe I've listened to too much DC.
I agree to a point. Like, I think in round 2 it was activity. In round 3 he was getting stuffed so easily that he would have to retreat almost immediately that it was like bad visual.
And I do agree that, like, game plan wise, if I was coach, I'd just be like, hey, like, let's fucking chill out on that. So I do see your point. Like, I guess I just didn't. I kind of see it as Gordon mixing it up and Gordon, throwing that shit at the wall, seeing if it sticks more so that I'm giving like Haqparast points for shutting down all the takedowns. But
and to your point,
well taken.
And to your point, like I said, like, I have Gordon winning the round, and I think that even though it is a close round, I thought Gordon did enough to win it. So it's very surprising to see a judge like Sal D'Amato give that to Haqparast.
Disappointing thing when I heard it was Sal D'Amato, because like that's a judge. Like, if it's not Adelaide Bird, it's not Ron McCarthy. The fact that it was Sal, man, come on, Sal. The New York guy, your Italian ass is gonna fucking shit on the New Yorker,
bro. We got to talk about Vito Palilo's scorecards from this last night, and he did not get a scorecard on the main card, but he does on the prelims all over the place. And I'll bring him up. I'll highlight those scorecards because they're absurd.
But yeah, I mean, this fight was fantastic. This is one we called it. This was basically like our version of If You Don't Know, Now You Know. Like, we talked about it on the betting show that like I cannot wait to watch this one. And it delivered. This was Dana White's If You Don't Know, Now You Know. I mean, this fight was awesome. I do feel for Gordon though. He's gotten the no contest.
Robbed against Patty. Legit robbed against Patty. No contest.
Like, arguably robbed here. Like,
I mean,
he's getting screwed, dude. He's not getting any younger. He's 35 now at lightweight. He's not big enough to go to welter.
I guess
he's in a tough spot.
My argument is that, like, he clearly got robbed once by judges already. Like, let's not rob this guy again, judges. You know what I mean? Let's not even, like, make it, like, if he wins this in a split, I feel so much better than Haqparast winning in a split, if that makes any sense at all.
Makes perfect sense, man, because we both gave it to Gordon. Yeah, man. I really do feel bad for Jared Gordon. The cool thing about Jared Gordon is he doesn't feel bad for himself. Like his mentality is so dope. Like he's a cool guy, badass dude. And then also like Nasrat, I just feel like Nasrat has like a high floor and a low ceiling. So like
Yeah,
as far as like I can't like get too excited about like, oh, we got a new contender here, or somebody to shovel coal in the hype train. Like Nasrat has fast hands and a good chin, and he does have like the fighting spirit or whatever. Like, but I just like skill set wise, I don't think he's elite. Like body type wise, I don't think he's elite. He's a good fighter.
It's interesting to hear you say that because Kenneth was over watching the fights with me this weekend, and we were talking about Haqparast and Gordon, and I said the exact same thing, that Haqparast probably has a lower ceiling than Gordon, slightly, but also a slightly higher floor, and that neither guy's ceiling is like ultimately very high, but that Haqparast is like, more what to expect, whereas Gordon can have bad performances and great performances.
Yeah, like I think Gordon, man, with a win here, I mean, he's right there in the same tiers as like the Dobers and the Bobby Greens and the Diego Ferreiras and like that level of guy, the Grant Dawson's, like the top 25 guys.
I know, but this one holds him back to like 35.
Oh, yes, exactly.
It's like really tough.
And I think Haqparast was never going to get really above 30. You know what I mean?
What I also think, though, is that we might be able to get good value on Gordon in his next fight because he looked really good in this fight. He mixed his martial arts well. Like, I think he's achieving a higher ceiling.
You got to keep in mind, like, Gordon by decision is always a live pick because he has a great chin. He doesn't necessarily have, like, one-punch knockout power. He doesn't really go for submission. So, like,
and he mixes martial arts really well to, like, mix over five minutes around to not get a finish, but to win a round.
I think his style leans to like Gordon by decision props moving forward. But man, yeah, sucks, man. I consider that a bad beat. If you robbery, not robbery, I guess that can be semantics. But bad beat as a better that had Gordon by decision. So confident in saying bad beat. And this would have broke me even too. So
oh man, whenever the third judge's scorecard got read and they said they said Haqparast, my head just sunk, and I was like, D-Mac. That's all I said. I just felt so bad.
To not break even on that kind of a bad beat really fucking sucks. But, hey, let's keep it pushing. Because this one I got to own. And I know you're being a good teammate here and not putting it all on me, but I was so high on Naimov. I had him 4 stars. I basically talked you into it. I definitely was sleeping on Felipe Lima. So sorry to anybody that lost money betting on Naimov. I was so bullish on it. We got Naimov minus 110. We got him at plus 100 though. So I mean, love the value there.
Honestly, whenever we get to the scorecards here, and like if the third round just plays out, we'll get into it because we got to go round by round. Even though this fight doesn't get to the scorecards, very interesting, very good fight. Minus 110 odds or minus 120 plus 100, whatever you want to call it. Fair. This fight was so close, and I think if they ran it back, Naimov could win the decision, or somehow probably finish Lima.
Yeah, for sure. Granted. So my whole logic for loving Naimov was so much. He was fighting a bantamweight, coming up a weight class on short notice in his debut on the other side of the world. There was a lot kind of going against Lima here.
Well, and Lima does train in Sweden.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good point. But. I oversimplified it. I didn't really do a deep dive onto Felipe Lima.
Lima's good.
He's the Octagon, which I sort of respected European promotion, the Octagon. He's their bantamweight champ. He was well credentialed, 12-1, and there was a situation where the one was his first fight ever. He's on a 12-fight win streak since then. So, there was a lot. Like, I didn't think Lima was a scrub. I just think up a weight class, short notice, debut against an opponent the level of Naimov. I thought that was a lot. And it was a lot. It was a tough fight for him. Like you said, we got to go round by round here. I just like...
You know what I cannot
I'm not defending
stand
my Naimov
about...
pick. I'm just like...
You know what I can't stand about DC is, like, mid-fight, they're talking about Lima, and he's like, yeah, one of the guys in the booth told me that, like, this is probably the best pound-for-pound prospect, like, that's not in the UFC. And I was like, well, fuck me. Like, that's not what I want to hear when I got money against him. Like, the best prospect the UFC hasn't signed is this guy. Like, fuck.
And also, like, UFC, hey, it's in the title of your job. Promote this guy. Let us know, right?
Yeah, like he's sick. He clearly is sick. Like this was a great fight. I don't take away from Naimov. I actually just kind of boost Lima.
Remember whenever they were hyping up Shara for his debut, they're like, "Oh, we got this killer coming over." Like they should have let us know that this guy was a fucking dog. But and then one quick point too. Chael always talks about it. Chael always says the hardest fight, at least in the training room, is the guy one weight class below you. That quickness, that the cardio, the stamina. So that's as soon as this fight started, I was like, man, Chael is on point with that because he was quicker, like quick twitch. You could tell
Naimov
not
was
the fastest guy.
You could tell Naimov was stronger, but it was hard for him to get his hands on him enough.
Just couldn't quite track him down. Couldn't quite win the exchanges. But yeah, round one, I thought it was a super close round because Naimov got the takedown at the end of the round with a little bit of control, but didn't do a lot of damage. Thought Lima definitely won the damage. He was fast. He was explosive. And he won the start of the round. I could argue that Naimov won the end of the round, but Naimov won the end of the round, not inflicting really any damage. So I give round one to Lima, and I feel good about it. But Naimov had some success.
So I fully agree with you. I scored it for Lima, but as a Naimov bettor, I didn't hate it because him ending the round with the takedown, I was like, okay, he understands he can get it. And then I honestly thought Naimov built on that in the second round and fought a better second round than a first. I scored the second round to Naimov.
I don't even have the word close. Like I thought Naimov looked fantastic in the second round. Like
couldn't agree more. And Lima's corner was screaming in his face. Andreas Michael, the coach from All Stars, telling him like, you got to go for this. Like you're losing. Andreas Michael made it sound like he might be down 2 rounds, which I had it 1-1. 2 of the judges had it 1. Oh, no. I'm sorry. 1 judge agrees with us. Round 1 to Lima, round 2 to Naimov. Sal D'Amato has round 1 and 2 to Naimov. So as Naimov bettors, nice though.
I know.
Now listen.
Thanks, Sal.
Vito Palillo, rounds 1 and 2 to Lima. Yeah, how do you give 2 to Lima? That's where I have a problem.
Lima's crazy. Hell, I think 1 to Naimov kind of crazy too. You got to take down with 0 damage at the end of the round after getting pieced up. Like, come on now.
Like we were on our way to split 30-27s.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Yeah, man, Naimov looked so good in 2, and it was cool too because as the slower guy, the only way to counter speed as a slower, stronger guy is the timing. And he figured that out on the fly. And that's why I'm still not super down on Naimov.
Yeah, I agree. So, that's what I was saying.
He had answers to these problems. Like, Lima was presenting all these issues, and then, Naimov was able to solve for the variable on the fly. And in round 1, he was able to use the wrestling more. Round 2, he was able to counter the speed with the timing. Like, that's high-level shit that not a lot of guys can do.
I couldn't agree more. And then to Lima's credit, man, his corner lit a fire under his ass. He came out in round 3. Went for it, got the back, and man, I was sad to see Naimov not fight the hands more immediately.
It was one of those instant lock-ins, but also Naimov had his chin up in the air. His chin wasn't even really.
It was also he wasn't expecting to get choked there. Like he wasn't giving Lima the credit for being able to jump a choke that quick.
Hey, I don't need to know shit about you. If I got a Brazilian on my back, my neck's gonna be, my chin's gonna be tucked, bro. Come on now. It was just, the sub defense, I'll say that's my biggest knock. It wasn't the speed. It wasn't the effort. It wasn't my biggest knock on Naimov. That sub defense is a problem. You got a Brazilian on your back and your chin's up in the air. What are we even doing here? That's step 1. That's white belt shit. Tuck your chin. That's not even a technique. That's just common sense.
It sucks, but like I said, after going back and watching this fight, I'm not taking too much away from Naimov. I just think bantamweight got another killer in its division. The deepest division in the UFC gets another guy.
Lima's good, man. And Michael, shout out Michael in the group chat. He was saying that he got big Diego Lopez vibes, and I do too.
Here's my thing though, is I do get those vibes, but I don't know that he's quite that level skill set, right? So I wonder, against a Peyton Talbot or a Marcus McGee, how does Lima do against those guys? I think those are close fights, but I don't know that he wins.
I think the fact that in your second fight that we're comparing you to that level of guy, you just listed 3 guys that were very high.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I think Lima's a killer. I think he's a top 25 bantamweight, which is saying so much.
Second fight ever. Yeah, we got us one here with Felipe Lima. I probably will not be betting against him again anytime soon.
Fuck.
And then, like I said, Naimov, man, I mean, I'll probably move him down a few spots in the power rankings because I probably had him a little high. I think I had him at like 17 or something. That's kind of nut riding him, I'll be honest. But he's very good, man. He's very good. He's a good fighter. And like I said, that's the fight. I feel like the ability to solve for variables on the fly. I think that's what separates, like, that's why I'm out on like Shara Bullet. Like Shara Bullet shows no ability to like adjust on the fly or adjust the game plan in between rounds. Like I think only the highest level guys can do that, and Naimov has shown the ability to do that.
I couldn't agree more. Like I'm not down on my Naimov after this performance, after rewatching it especially. It's more so that I'm high on Lima, which is why I have him so highly and don't really hold it against Naimov all that much.
No, fair.
Like I still think he's beaten like Billy Q's and Landwehr's and like he's disposing of those guys.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is all well and fair. Man, up next we got some welterweights that are both very good. This was a high level fight. I thought this was honestly like card placement wise, this could have been much higher in my opinion.
We got to talk about this fight. We got to go round by round. We got to bring up our breakdown of how this fight potentially was going to go and why Dalby was a very live dog and Dalby by decision was an ultra live bet.
Well, and just overall, Fakhretdinov money line was a bad bet.
Correct. All of it. Yeah. The
Fakhretdinov coming in at minus 345, taking on Dalby, the hype train crusher, at plus 275. and like my whole logic there on the betting episode was that like, hey, if you're taking minus 345 as the price, then like you're expecting a finish or like a dominant like that's not a sweaty bet. If you're buying at minus 345, you're not signing up for a sweat.
Gadzhiyasulov.
Shout out Gadzhiyasulov. But you see my point. That's what I was like. This was a no bet for me because like if you want to be bold and do the Dalby sprinkle, knock yourself out. But I was just like Fakhretdinov at that price on a parlay, like that's too close of a fight for that price. Like, I thought the value was way off, and that's where I come out smelling like Rosen.
Yeah, no, I also think that we touched on cardio being Dalby's best weapon and Fakhretdinov's biggest enemy. I think there's a world where without the knockdown in round one from Fakhretdinov toward the end of the round, there's a way you can get a Dalby 30-27 scorecard here without the knockdown.
Agreed, bro. 1,000% agree. Because I have rounds 2 and 3 as basically coin flips, and then round 1 wasn't a coin flip, but only because of the knockdown.
Exactly.
And before that knockdown, Dalby had landed 2 head kicks of his own. So was having a lot of success. So I agree.
So I have in my notes 10-9 Renat after one, thanks to him stealing it with the big knockdown. Like I have the word stealing it. Like I thought that he pretty much stole that round out from Dalby.
He did have the takedown, but Dalby was able to get up from it. I said Dalby landed 2 head kicks.
Dalby was a dog too on the takedown. Like got up quick, took no damage.
Agreed, man. Agreed. I mean, this fight was awesome, honestly. It was a good fight. Now, round 2, super close. It was one of those situations where Dalby was having some success on the feet at the start of the round. Mm-hmm. But as the round went on, Renat was able to kind of, implement more of his game plan. See, I have stolen round 2. So you have the word stolen round 1. I have the word stole in round 2 because without that late takedown, we got another coin flip round on our hands. I thought that late takedown by Renat kind of, they stole it, sealed it, whatever word you want to use. But I think without that late takedown, we got another 50-50 round here.
Crazy enough, I thought Dalby had done enough even with that takedown to where I still scored it for him. I just thought Renat was not doing much damage. I mean, that takedown was, yes, it was takedown, but he really did not do much with it.
No, that's fair. Even in my own notes, I said, like, he stole the round with the late takedown. He won the last 90 seconds of the round. I don't have the word damage. You know what I mean? Like, I don't disagree with you. I just optically, eye test wise, leaned Renat, but I mean, I don't hate what you're saying.
So what's crazy is every judge at this point has it 19-19, 1 to Renat, 2 to Dalby, which I think there's an argument that 2 could beat a Renat for sure. It's a coin flip, and I think without the knockdown, like we talked about, round 1 would have been Dalby's. So if you're a Dalby better, like I'm not feeling terrible going into round 3, especially knowing that Dalby's weapon is cardio.
Especially at that number, man. At that number, like this is exactly what I was saying, bro. If you bet Renat at minus 345 on your parlay, you were feeling like a fool,
dude. So round 3, ultra coin flip. I thought round 3 was so close. Who'd you end up scoring it to?
I gave round 3 to Dalby.
I don't hate it.
Damage. The takedown defense / get ups. Like Renat was like wrestling in, I guess, subjectivity on how successful he was being. But yeah, like he got a few takedowns, but he also got a few takedown stuff. And when he did get a takedown, Dalby was able to get up pretty damn fast. And I thought Dalby won the damage battle. So yeah, I gave round 3 to Dalby. 10-9, obviously.
So in my notes I have it as another coin flip round. I leaned to Fakhretdinov on this one, but maybe just because of like the logic of I had coin flipped the last round to Dalby, so if I'm going to coin flip another round, I don't know. That sounds like some theoretical logic, but
we reversed it. I mean, I did something somewhat similar. Like I gave Renat 2 and Dalby 3. So I mean, the logic kind of holds up. Like,
well, and I think they're both super close rounds. One judge scores 2 and 3 to Dalby and has the fight for him 29-28. The other judges score rounds 1 and 3 to Fakhretdinov and 2 to Dalby and have it 29-28 for Fakhretdinov. He wins by split decision here, but does not justify his money line, and in fact was so close to losing a decision to Dalby.
Yeah, man, and I feel for Dalby too, because that would have been a big win for him. And at 39 years old, like he needed that one bad. But 100%. Like I won't go full fraud check on Fakhretdinov, but I do have like low ceiling check. Like I don't think he's like a fraud as far as like he's not UFC cal. Like clearly he's UFC caliber. But
I think Water has found his level here. I think like 25 is about his like stopping point. Like 25 to 20. I don't know that he's getting top 15.
Yeah, because good point. Like I don't know if he's beaten a Kevin Holland or even Randy Brown could give him trouble. You know what I mean? Like that level of guy. Like his striking really is so rudimentary. His cardio is not like Tricoli bad, but it's not great. Is of average, but I don't think it's like Hamzat level wrestling like we were kind of being marketed in his debut.
It's not Marab. It's none of those guys. The pressure isn't there.
He's what, like a B fighter? Like if you're giving it like a school grade, like a B minus? Like I don't think like
he's like a weird fighter, man, because if you're a bad wrestler, he'll win because he'll just snooze you out and be on top. If you have bad striking defense, he has good enough power in the start to finish you. But if you're a solid fighter, if you're a solid mixed martial artist,
Dalby.
I think Fakhretdinov struggles with guys that mix martial arts well.
Yeah, guys that can mix it up.
I mean, that's what Easy DS does. Like great cardio, mixes martial arts well.
That's a tough fight for him for sure.
Well, like obviously that was his last fight, and he came to a draw with him.
Yeah, good point. Even like a Luque, like I think a Luque could like solve that puzzle. Like, you know what I mean? Luque hasn't looked great lately.
Who did Luque just get booked against? Oh, Nick Diaz. That's right.
That's such a weird fight. Like that doesn't even sound real. Like I know it's real, but like that sounds like some like fake shit.
It's just one of those fights where it's like, they're doing that.
I mean, I'm gonna take Luque right now.
I'm gonna take Luque.
But yeah, man, Fakhretdinov, like I said, I won't go as far as to say fraud check, but like I don't know, maybe clunky, not the most marketable term, but like low ceiling check for sure. Like, I don't know.
For me, it just like clarified the picture. Like the fraud check was Easy Diaz, and we realized like, oh, this guy's not who we think he is. And this was confirmation of like, okay, this is exactly where this guy is 25.
Like this could have been a draw too. Like this could have been a draw
or a loss.
Yeah, man, he's not beating the top 15. Or if he does, it'd have to be like a super matchup specific thing. Like,
like a guy with terrible takedown defense.
Yes, exactly. Which that doesn't really exist in the top 15.
Welterweight, you're in a bad division for that.
Like maybe a Michael Morales, but it's like we don't know that he can't counter wrestle. But like, I don't know, bro. I'm kind of. I don't want to say I'm out, but like I'm out as far as like whenever Renat debuted, I was like, oh fuck, we might got one here, and I'm as far my tune has changed on that for sure, man. Man, let's keep it pushing, man. Go grab your shovel. We got shit to eat on this one. Muin Gafurov, minus 160, taking on Kang, our dog of the week. We got him at plus 140. Kang just performed pretty badly, man. I mean, round one was pretty close.
He kept fucking off good chances. It was my problem with is he would get to he kept going
he got to full mount like 4 times and got bucked off.
Yeah, his going for like essentially he was just trying to force his way into the mount too and not like let it come to him. Yeah, I just felt like
if you got to mount 2 times and lost it very quickly both times, then like, hey, how about you don't go for it a 3rd and 4th time? Like, remember we talked about just now with Naimov, how he was able to adjust on the fly and see what wasn't working and what was working and like adjust accordingly. Like Kang was the exact opposite. He was just trying to, headbutt his way through a brick wall and just like, they said, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, like, hey, if it is broke, do fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like just he kept trying the same thing and expecting different results. And, like, as a Kang better, it was driving me nuts. Because, like, if you're having enough success to get to mount 4 times, then, like, that means you could, like, one tweak or adjustment here.
Also, when he would take the back, he would rush the hooks, get too high, and get thrown off the back. That happened twice. Like, it was really frustrating to watch him lose full mount twice and to watch him lose back mount twice. Like, there were 4 positions in which he was ready to be able to win and finish the fight. And he lost all 4. 100%. Like, as a Kang batter, I was just punching myself in the face.
It was a fumble, right? Like, that's what made this so frustrating. Because, like, Kang, like, if you can take a guy's back twice and get full mount twice, like, that's a fight you're capable of winning. Like,
it wasn't even like Gafurov fought the best fight. He just consistently fought. Whereas Kang would, like, get to a great spot and then fuck it off. And that was horrific to watch.
He just Jalen Turnered this fight away, bro. He just fumbled. Like, seriously, like, just like I said, I mean, a good fighter, like, just name any fighter that we have any level of respect for, and you're going to tell me you get full mount twice and take his back twice, and you can't win that fight?
Right.
Like, even talking about it. Like, that's why, like, yeah, we're shoveling our shit. Our dog of the week didn't cash, but, like, you saw why we took him, and like Gafurov's not that great. Like I said, he got mounted twice. That's my takeaway here. Back taken twice.
Like Gafurov, not that good.
We knew. I mean, he's what 0-2 coming into this one, plus a loss on the contender. And yeah, he gets this win over Kang. Not a great win. Obviously any bet that doesn't cash is you feel bad about, but like how this fight played out, the X's and O's. One small adjustment, like on the second time, instead of going to mount, he stays in half guard. He probably wins that round. You know what I mean? Or maybe he can work his way to an arm triangle or something. Or, you get too high on the first back take. Hey, if he sinks his hips on the second one, maybe he finds a rear naked choke. Like, it just simple mistakes. And it's like, it's one thing, hey, it's high level MMA. Not every position's going to go your way. But to make the same mistake twice 2 separate times is just, it's a hard pill to swallow. And just kind of piss poor fight IQ and technique from Kang.
Yeah, it was bad technique all the times because he was rushing it. He was rushing to get to a position for a submission instead of securing the position and then worrying about submission. And like Rogan talks about all the time, and it becomes cliched because he says it so fucking much, but like when you chase submissions over positions, you inevitably lose everything. So
yes, or it's like Chael always says, like, if you try to get a knockout, then you'll lose a decision.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, all right, now call me crazy, and maybe this was my Kang underdog ticket. I gave Kang round 3. Am I a crazy person?
So I have round 3 as a coin flip that Gafurov stole at the end.
Yeah, I literally have in my notes that Gafurov almost stole the round at the end. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, unfortunately, like, that's super frustrating because if Kang doesn't fight like a dumbass in round 2, he wins that round because that's the round he has the back twice, which is just it's just like, or has the mount and the back take in round 2. Because I think in round 1 he gets the back late, and then in round 3 he gets full mount again. But in round 2 he had both and fucked off both.
Yeah, it was so tough to watch as a Kang better, man. Yeah, Gafurov gets the win. Our bet does not cash, and we will keep it pushing.
Yes,
because like as far as matchmaking and projection goes, like neither one of those guys matters. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no,
like,
and that's my biggest takeaway.
Felipe Lima first round finishes both of them.
Yes, 100%. Like Lima's 25 ranks above Gafurov and 30 above Kang.
Yeah, seriously. Do not matter in the division. Speaking of guys that don't matter, we got Brinson Ribeiro coming up next. Plus 275, taking on the 8-0 fraud Magomed Gadzhiyasulov, minus 345. And this is another one, man, where if you took that Gadzhiyasulov minus 345, and I almost did. I considered making like I said when I was debating on doing Gordon by decision or assembling like a big parlay with the last five that was in the betting kiosk. Like I considered, and like if you took that value at minus 345, then you were not feeling good about it.
So I'm looking at the bets that I considered, and I have Gadzhiyasulov by KO TKO at minus 130. Didn't bet anything on it and considered it. Also had this guy as 4 stars to win. I got fraud checked on this one, if nothing else. Yeah, man, Gadzhiyasulov, he ain't him. I was sold that this guy was him. He ain't him.
Bro, we need to start fading fighters that come out of Bahrain. These Bahrain hype trains are ass. Like the Bahrain, like local MMA scene must be so bad. Because what Gazib was undefeated, came over, got fraud checked. This guy, like these low level Bahraini and like local promotions.
I think
like,
that's where
we gotta fade that.
I think that's where Abdurakhimov fought out of too. Was that Bahrainian fight league?
Oh, man, dude, those guys do not come over and have much success at all. Because like I have Brenton Ribeiro like firmly in my can tier. Like I am like, and he, I mean. Gadzhiyasulov, I mean, he wins the fight, but like, I mean, this was a close fight, and I mean, at minus 345 money line, Ribeiro a can, like this was fraud check city. I mean, do you want to go round by round here?
Yeah, we have to just because of the scorecards. I think 1 and 2. I mean, no, we got to go round. Vito Palillo strikes again here. We got to go round by round.
You're right, because we end up with a 28-28 scorecard, which is wild.
Yeah.
Like, this fight was snoozy. Like,
yeah.
How do you get 10-8 in a snooze fest? Like, that's like an oxymoron. Like,
we got to get to it.
Jive.
So, round 1, by the way, Cormier, hilarious, making Herzog laugh mid-fight, talking about, like, whispering while Gadzhiyasulov was cheating, and he's, like, whispering. He's right there. Like, I can't tell him.
No, that was hilarious. But, yeah, man, Brenton Ribeiro plus 275. Gadzhiyasulov minus 345. I gave round 1 to Ribeiro, man.
Me too. That leg kick that dropped the leg kick that dropped Gadzhiyasulov. Now Gadzhiyasulov immediately shot a takedown, got it, ended the round with the takedown. But Ribeiro clearly won the damage in round 1. Controlled a lot of the position on the fence. I thought it was a 10-9 Ribeiro. Every judge had that as well. Round 2 though. Gadzhiyasulov goes right for the takedown immediately and almost gets caught in a guillotine. I mean, it was deep as hell. Survives it, reverses the position, rides out the round on top. I gave him round 2. There's a judge that did not.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it's like, did I love his performance in round 2? No, but like he won the round. Like,
right, and Ribeiro did nothing other than threaten a guillotine in the whole round.
And we talked about it ad nauseum on this show, but like guillotine's a pass-fail. Like there's no it either works and you win, or typically you lose the round. Like it
doesn't score points. Like, it doesn't do damage. It's not a joint attack. The blood flow is returned immediately. The arrow is returned immediately. You weren't gassing him out.
Yeah, no. That's crazy. A judge gave that round.
Vito Palillo.
That's bad, dude. That's really bad.
Check it out. You know who gives the 10-8 then? Because he's the only guy that could get you a 28-28. He gives Gadzhiyasulov wins round 3. Early takedown, rides the whole round on top. Not debatable. However, no damage.
Snoozy. Yeah, I mean, some minimal, like, body, head, ground and pound. Like
enough damage to keep position.
Like, and that's it. Like,
and
barely
not enough damage to threaten the ref to step in. Not enough damage to tell the fighter to, like, defend themselves. Nothing like that.
It was like a cut, I don't think. I don't think there was like a cut or any major swelling or anything like that. Like it was snoozy. It was a snoozy round.
So I have 29-28 Gadzhiyasulov. Okay, 2 judges do as well. No problem there. The 28-28 for Gadzhiyasulov is absurd. For you to score round 2 for Ribeiro when he's on his back for most of the round, and then round 3 go the opposite and 10-8 for the other guy whenever it's almost the same round, that is illogical. That makes no sense. You didn't even watch the same fight.
No, it's really bullshit, like, for real. Yeah, man, I'm out on Gadzhiyasulov. I've been out on Ribeiro. Like, Ribeiro had, to his credit, he had more success than I thought he was going to have.
Well, and the Mingyang Zhang loss might age well in all credit to Ribeiro.
Yeah, we like Zhang. I need to see him fight again, bro.
Me too.
We're like the only podcast out there that are like, almost every week we find a way to work his name into the podcast. Like, we need to see this guy fight.
He's fearless. He's like Gaethje, but at fucking 185. Like, how is that not, or 205? I mean, how is that not fun? Like, he's massive for the weight class, and he's fearless. Like, that's awesome.
It's one thing if it's bantamweight or lightweight and the division's 80 guys deep and they all just kind of blur together.
Yeah, it's a weight class
light
heavyweight
bodies. And
he's electric. Like, when he fights 4 finishes or to be finished.
He's clearly trying to get that East Asian market like more on board and like market the. I mean, this next fight.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can keep it pushing if you want, since we are so on both these guys to the road to UFC final here. Vito Palillo striking again, but not so egregiously. This is one where we do have to go round by round again. All 3 of the rounds are close, but we do have bantamweights here. Zhao Long taking on Chang Ho Lee. We had bet Lee at, I believe, -105, correct?
Yeah, we got him at -105. Yep. And this is another example of how my scorecards aren't always tainted by my bets. I go against my own pick with my scorecards here. So this goes to show, like, with Jared Gordon, like me dying on the hill, like it's not necessarily just bias. Because I will score a fight against my own interest. I try to be objective here. This is a prime example of it.
I scored it for Lee, but I literally have in my notes, I'll say 29-28 Lee, but who the fuck actually knows? Like, it's this close of a fight.
I feel the same way. Like, I have the word close in all caps in all 3 rounds. It was basically all 3 coins.
And it's honestly like, how much do you like the knees early? Because they matter in
knees to the body.
Yeah. Exactly. For
sure.
So, let's get into it, because round 1, I like the knees to the body. They also made him fight an extra 10 seconds, which was crazy. And I also thought Long landed the most impactful strikes of the round and got the takedown that he was working very hard for. So I did score it to Long, but I thought extremely close round. And depending on how much you like knees to the body, you might have given it to Lee. The extra 10 seconds was crazy, by the way.
Yeah, first and hopefully only time that's ever happened, I do believe. I gave round 1 to Zhao Long. I thought that he landed the cleaner / harder punches. And, like, once again, caveman math, same as I did in giving Tricoli round 1.
Punches to head,
like,
knees to body. I fully agree, fully felt it. That's the exact same way I felt, and the reason I scored it to Long. I mean, I could not agree with you more, man. Now, reason I brought up that point so specifically is in round 2, I thought the knees to the body started to matter. They started to land more clean. They were a lot more numerous. And twice I felt like Long was shooting low singles because those knees he did not like.
Copy paste, built the exact same way. I have the most bro-y notes ever on this one. I just said clinch knees to the body for days in all caps. Like, seriously, like, it was
beautiful.
So many. Spamming. He spamming.
And I honestly, throwing left knee too, so liver side, like, I thought he was going to catch liver. He threw so many.
Hip flexibility allowed him to get, like, good torque on it. It wasn't like those, like, women's bantamweights where they're clinched up and they kind of bring it up to, like, the ribs or the side and it barely kind of pokes. Like, these were fully, like, engaged, like, torquey.
They were flush, like, straight up and down, too. Like, they weren't coming from the side.
That's what I'm saying. They weren't coming up the side. Yeah, so many clinch knees, like, do that little side angle shit. That's not very damaging. These were, like, uppercuts, basically, like uppercut with the knee.
These were more hitting, like, kneecap, top of the knee, instead of, like, inner knee, which top of the knee, way harder. Like, if you punch your own top of your knee, like, versus the inside of your knee, one hurts way worse. So, like, I thought he was landing very impactful knees to the body. We both have it 19-19.
Correct, lockstep.
So check it out. One judge agrees with us, Anders Olsen. Vito Palillo and Clemens Werner have the exact opposite. 1 to Lee, 2 to Long.
Yeah, I mean, they're close rounds. I don't hate it per se, but...
Well, let's keep it pushing, because here's where I think... I don't have a scorecard any judge has. You have the scorecard of Anders Olsen, which is... in round 3, man, Lee gets a nice takedown in round 3. Gets the back. Gets reversed. Gives up his own back. Is able to get up and get away. Each guy gets about 80 seconds of control time. Not a lot of damage. And about the same amount of positional, like, advancement.
All right. Step in right here, though. Because you're right. Everything is basically equal in round 3. Besides, that big elbow that Zhao Long landed was not only the most impactful strike of the round, the most impactful strike of the whole fight. That elbow that he landed, I was a big fan of. Like I said, in a round where all else is equal, That elbow scored big for me.
My only pushback is that Lee ate it well and responded with more knees to the body immediately after eating that. So it was like a good like visual response, I thought, for Lee. What's crazy is I said I scored it to Lee, but I could be swayed for long in that round more than any other round, in my opinion, as far as like coin flippiness. Like, I feel like this was true 50-50 and have no problem with Long winning. So one judge has your scorecard, 1 and 3 to Long, 2 to Lee. 2 judges have it 1 and 3 to Lee and 2 to Long. I find that a little weird, in all honesty. Like, I think maybe Zhao Long should have been the winner of this fight.
Yeah, we bet Lee, so we were happy. This is one where we actually were happy that the parlays don't end up cashing, so it doesn't matter really in the end.
But he was juicy for the parlays. Like, if I had just swapped Lee for Naimov with the Whittaker and gotten plus 260 on that, fuck.
I know. If ifs and nuts were cherries and nuts, but yeah, man, Chang-Ho Lee gets the very close split decision. And see, this is where I'm just like, these Ultimate Fighters and these road to UFCs, dude, they just don't produce that high of a level of guy, right? I mean,
yeah, so I
like
wonder about
days,
that. And I saw your tweet on, do you consider this a UFC fight? And like by technicality, it was a fighter that asked that question, but by technicality, yeah.
Leroy Murphy.
Shout out. By technicality, yes, it is a UFC fight. Now, what I will say is, if you're the winner of this fight, it guarantees you a legitimate UFC fight.
Yeah. No, and just what I'm seeing is, and it keeps going back to fucking Felipe Lima, man. Like, these are guys who are in the same division. Like, I'm supposed to be excited about these guys. Like, whenever I just watched Felipe Lima dog walk a top 20 featherweight, not dog walk, but you see what I'm saying. Like these guys, like, and I just like that's like I said, the same goes for Ultimate Fighter. Like, I don't know if you're watching this season of Ultimate Fighter. We're like 3 episodes in. I don't see any world beaters yet on there. Like,
Robert's pretty dope.
Maybe, but I just like I don't
know about world beater for him, but he's cool dude, easily marketable, seems tough.
Back in the day, Ultimate Fighter produced like world champion level fighters. Now I get it, the sport and the landscape has changed, and Dana White Contender Series has kind of taken
that's what
that.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the UFC as a body wants DWCS. Like, dude, when you see when Dana does the little if you don't know now you know videos and shit on their fight board, they have TUF and DWCS next to guys' names that are from there. They want all of those to say DWCS eventually. Like, that's what their ultimate goal would be, is only TUF and DWCS on there, which is, I think, dumb.
See, I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
But here's why it's dumb is, like, why has Felipe Lima not been on DWCS? This dude's a fucking murderer.
He won a fucking title in Poland or wherever. I guess that's the other route to take. But, yeah, man, I guess I say all that to say is like Zhao Long, Chang-Ho Lee, like these guys, like they just won the road to UFC. Like, as a fan, like as a promotion, you're telling me like, oh, these are guys to like look out for. This is the future of the weight class, and I just not when Felipe Lima is on the same card in the same weight class. Like,
it's unfortunate, I guess, that I mean, if that's road to UFC, like, is it their fault or is that the best collection of bantamweights that Asia has to offer, and that's just what it is? Like, I wonder.
It's interesting. Because, like, Tatsuro Taira, I mean, he didn't come off that show, I don't think. But, like, he's an East Asian flyweight, obviously. But, like, he's a high-level guy, clearly.
I think all the highest-level Asian guys get picked out early. So what we're looking at with Road to UFC is all these guys that have been picked over but haven't been picked up by, like, one or the other big promotions that primarily operate out of Asia. That's what I truly think we're seeing is, like, we're seeing, like, C to B-level talent be brought up as though it's the best Asian talent. Because the UFC doesn't want to necessarily compete with one directly, but indirectly needs to steal some of their talent.
Yeah, no, I get it. And like, I guess just it's not very nice to say, but like Chang-Ho Lee, Zhao Long, like kind of who cares, right? Like, I don't.
I mean,
see,
they
like,
opened up a prelims on a free card, so I think they fought in the right spot. To be fair, like, this is the right card placement.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, do you predict like Chang-Ho Lee like having like a dope UFC career?
Nor
like,
Zhao Long. And I think Zhao Long is the more technically skilled fighter, if I'm being honest. I think Lee has more dog in it. But I don't think dog matters when you're skilled. Like, they both have low floors and ultimately not that high ceiling. So I'm like, what are we doing with these guys?
Do you think Chang Ho Lee beats Raul Rosas Jr.?
No, like I think their ceiling is like maybe 50, and I think their floor is not UFC. So I'm just saying, like, what are we doing with these guys?
It's so funny that you said that because I have Raul Rosas Jr. at 51. So
that's what I'm saying. Like their the best they'll ever do in their career is where this 19-year-old or 20-year-old kid is right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's like, what's the point? I guess is my.
I fully agree.
Like,
it's more of an indirect competition with one to try to steal guys out of their market. That's what I truly believe the road to UFC thing is.
And then next week we got UFC 303, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Crazy. We got the Yuri Poetan rematch.
Has there been a rematch or a replacement for Anthony Smith announced?
Yeah, Dalidze.
All right. Dalidze Smith, which, dude, you look at that fight, that was Roundtree Hill, Olberg Smith. Now it's Smith and Dalidze.
Yeah, that's lost a lot of steam.
Yeah, that fight went down so hard from where it was to where it is now.
Yeah, let me just recap real quick. So, yeah, Pereira. Oh, Ortega Lopez, bro.
Oh, yeah.
6 to midnight. 6 to midnight. That's amazing.
Speaking of which, Lopez the favorite there. I don't hate getting plus money on Ortega, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but it's not enough to make me fade my boy Diego. Come on now.
I could see myself betting an Ortega decision and getting some skrill.
Also, Ian Gary, Michael Venom Page. I hope that's a banger, but that also has potential to be like Izzy Cannonier level of snooze fest. I think
you know
like snoozy potential.
I think Power Bar is kind of live against Joe Pyfer at plus 225.
Yeah, maybe. Also, I've lost a few bets betting on old Power Bar.
Also, perhaps fight of the night it's going to be Charles Jourdain and John Silva.
Yeah, Swanson Feely might not be bad either. Oh, our boy Peyton Talbot's fighting. He's minus 1,600.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you seen the odds? Like, they're not even close.
The Desert Warriors.
You know what's so funny about that to me, man? Also, Arlovsky fights on the early prelims of this card. Hey, just retire, man, though, right? You know what's crazy to me? Also, Michelle Watterson Gomez, Jillian Robertson, early prelims. Hey, just retire, girls. No one needs you. Now, what I think is crazy about the Peyton Talbot thing is, 18 and 12, 13 and 8. What are we talking about? It's 31 and 20 as a combined record between those two women. Like, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, sorry. Peyton Talbot, we talked about it the last time he was out and we bet on him. We'll never get a number this good on him again. Clearly.
Dude, you want to talk about numbers in Arlovsky? Arlovsky at plus 220 against Budai seems pretty live to me. Like, I'm not high on Budai.
It's probably definitely not out yet, but Arlovsky decision feels really good there. Nah, the way Arlovsky fights, he likes to just point fight the edges now. He's old as shit.
You're right.
And Budai does not push forward like that. So that's, hey, the Arlovsky decision plus 300, probably a very live prop.
Oh, you know what nobody's talking about either, which sounds like a fucking banger to me. Sorry, casuals. Ricky Simone, Vinicius Oliveira. Remember, Oliveira's the guy that landed that knee that almost killed that guy.
That opens the fight card. To me, that could end up being very snoozy with Ricky Simone just getting on top and holding Oliveira down.
I'll say it this way. He better fucking hope. He better hope. If Oliveira can stuff a couple takedowns or catch him with a knee on the coming in, Askren Masvidal style.
I don't know. Once again, this goes to my earlier point of Ricky Simone, tenured UFC veteran. We know exactly what to expect. Vinicius Oliveira destroyed cans. We have no idea what else he's done.
No, 1,000%. And I'm not saying bet Vinicius Oliveira. I'm just saying, like, I didn't even know that fight was on this card. Like, that's a sick fight that nobody's talking about.
No, great fight. I once again do think Simone could snooze it out. Man. Cub Swanson Andre Fili could be fun. Yeah, gonna be a fun card. Definitely not. It's not Connor Chandler, but it is probably a better main event, in all honesty, man. Like, Pereira, Prohaska, probably a better main event.
All in. I honestly, fuck that Chandler-Connor fight. I'm more bummed about losing Jamal Hill-Olberg. Jamal Hill-Olberg was going to be epic. I was high on that one.
And I'll go ahead and tell everyone at home, dog of the week is Yuri for me. I'm going to bet him. I have to every time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I probably won't, but I
I don't blame you. But
we'll get to that. We'll get to that Wednesday.
Yeah,
man. That wraps
there's a lot
up
going
this
into
episode
it.
of Beefy Boys Breakdown. Looking forward to UFC 303 next week. Like and subscribe. Check us out on X at Beefy Breakdown, on IG at Beefy Boys Breakdown. And like and subscribe. Check out some of our YouTube shorts, and appreciate y'all watching.